عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فخرج يجر رداءه. So a solar eclipse they actually call it Muhammad's eclipse, if you look at it in some resources, sources, because during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, a total solar eclipse took place in that region, in that region in Mecca, and that took place. And the date actually is January 27th, 632. If you look it up, that's the date that they think it took place. So that actually did happen and is well documented. It's a total solar eclipse that took place. And it coincided with the death of Ibrahim, the son of the Prophet ﷺ. There's different opinions how old he was, but he was a toddler, like at the age of maybe a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years. He was actually walking and crawling and all that, and he died on that day. And then the solar eclipse took place on that day specifically. So the hadith says that the Prophet ﷺ, that happened. So he came out of his house, يَجُرُّ رِدَاءَهُ, dragging his aba'a, right? Like it means that he walked out. He rushed out, basically, like he grabbed his aba'a and he wrapped it around his body, alayhi salatu wasalam, too. فَصَلَّى, and he prayed. And there's different narrations and there's different hadith to describe that salah, because some people in certain schools of thought, certain madhahib, they just pray it normally, 2 rak'at, but they're long. They read a lot, like for an hour or 2 hours. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam prayed until the solar eclipse was over. He prayed the whole time. So you can only imagine if it takes a couple of hours. So he prayed for a couple of hours. And so there's different descriptions. This is not today's topic. We're not going to talk about how to pray it, but we just صلى ثم خطب الناس فقال, and this is actually the hadith. قال إن الشمس والقمر من آيات الله لا يخسفان لموت أحد ولا لحياته. That the sun and the moon and these celestial objects are merely great miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Things like that, eclipse and all that, they don't happen because of the death of a person or life of a person. So right there, he's telling you, this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These things happen. There's a scientific reason why. There's science behind it. It has nothing to do with superstitious and the death of someone or the life of someone. Now, I think this is one of the most beautiful ahadith, because if you think about it, there's actually, look it up, there's a YouTube video of a person who converted to Islam because of this incident. Because he said in his mind, logically, that if the Prophet ﷺ, Hasha, was an imposter and he's claiming falsely to be a prophet, this would be a beautiful opportunity for him to cement his claim, right? See what happened? I told you this happened, right? So if you think about it, right, you just wait for any opportunity and this is what imposters usually do, but the Prophet ﷺ, he's not like that, of course. So he's going to set the record. He's going to say, this is science, has nothing to do with superstitions. And actually, I don't know if you're aware, there was a hype before the solar eclipse about all that. Of course, nothing happened because we know this. It doesn't happen that way, right? These things happen all the time, and it's science. It's beautiful. فَإِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهَا, this is the continuation of the hadith. So if you see that, فَادْعُوا وَصَلُّوا. Another hadith, فَادْعُوا وَتُوبُوا وَصَلُّوا وَتَصَدَّقُوا. That pray and make a supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if you think about it, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving you a pre-taste of what Yawm al-Qiyamah could be. Right? This is what he's telling you, that this is mathematically accurate, but sometimes there are things that take place that will just freak you out a little bit. Because if you look at it, all of a sudden in the middle of the day, it became dark, became cold, windy, and that's just a pre-taste, like one of a million of what. So that's why you have to use it as a reminder that Yawm al-Qiyamah it's millions times more severe than that. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said the record straight. He said, this is science. This has nothing to do with superstitions. But if you see it, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sabbir. And the Salat al-Kusuf, there's more than one way to do it. Right? You can either pray this, and Hanafis, they just do it like like Salat al-Fajr, right? You do 2 rakat. And the Shafi'iyya, they do qira'ah and then sujood, ruku', and then they stand up and they do another qira'ah, more qira'ah, and they do another ruku'. So it's a salah that has 2 ruku' and 2 sujood. It's just a little bit different. And there's a reason why. I don't want to go through all that. I hope this was a benefit. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيح سنة صحيح عن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها وارضاها قالت: خسفت الشمس على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فخرج يجر رداءه فصلى بالناس ثم خطب الناس فقال: إن الشمس والقمر آيتان من آيات الله لا يخسفان لموت أحد ولا لحياته فإذا رأيتموها فصلوا وادعوا. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك لا إله